Hi, everybody in our group. We are live, Tess. So this is fabulous. So
Hello.
I'm here again. If you were around this morning, you'd have noticed I was already on. So please don't get confused. This is not a totally different day. This is the same day as it was this morning. Now, if that hasn't confused anybody, then so I'm here anyhow, still on day 96, but I'm calling this day 96B. And I'm here with Tess Wyatt. What? No, remind me, Tess?
Wyatt.
Wyatt. Yes, because I remember you saying that as in the, the, the movie.
Yeah.
And why am I here? And why is Tess here? It is 100 days of Facebook Lives with me in the group. And I will not be coming every day in the group as from Saturday. So I'm going to give you a wee break, just for a little while though. And this is all about you, the members of Now, who are sitting here with me and able to get confident in front of the camera if that is something that you aren't terribly good at, but yet you want to do because you are with someone, not just sitting there on your own. And also, it showcases yourself and your product or your service to everybody in the group. And it's a great way for us to get to know you, get to like you, and the rest. So, I'm going to go straight over to Tess and ask Tess, who are you and what do you do?
So my name's Tess and I'm an artist teacher. I moved up to Edinburgh 7 years ago and I was teaching in schools and I decided to be an artist for a bit. And then I fell into art journaling and I really love it as a method and my art practice. And I started working for Safe Space in Dunfermline and I met Monica, who's a psychotherapist and a psychologist. And she's from Poland and we hit it off like a house on fire. And we did 2 or 3 sessions for Safe Space. And then we started doing some work in Edinburgh and we decided we wanted to set up our own business and we got premises last May. And then we started running courses and things from January. It took us a while to get sorted.
Lovely. And when you say art journaling, explain what is that?
So, do you know about journaling, like in a diary or writing about yourself? Well, instead of using writing, we use pictures. And what we tend to do is lots of collage. So here's one I did earlier. This one's about balance. And I've written a blog about that as well. And it's about thinking about me and how I am at the moment. And I found this lady and she was doing this yoga pose, which I can't do, not easily. And the strap line was find balance. So I put finding balance here. And then what happens is because I can't stand up, I've given her lots of arms and this is going like that. And then because it's spring, when I was looking through the magazine, I found this beautiful page with cherry blossoms. So I decided to anchor it in the idea of cherry blossoms. And then here, I cut the lady's head off and put a mask on, which is me. And so it's sort of like, am I a slim person doing yoga, finding balance, or am I a slightly fatter older person finding balance but wearing a mask? And my partner thought it looked a bit like maybe it was somebody aspiring to be me. That, like, you know, when they go to football matches and they put on pictures like Trump or the manager of the football club, and they're aspiring to be that person.
Right.
So it's going through magazines and finding with soft eyes and finding pictures and words that jump out at you. And it's being mindful, but it's not thinking, oh, I want to do something about hearts today. It's thinking about how you're feeling, your emotions and things like that. And then what we do, Monica and I, is we set up some groups. And because Monica's a therapist, she holds the group and we do therapeutic group work. And we've just done 2 sessions on Zoom because we decided that we would try. Everybody else seemed to be trying it, so we thought we would have a go. And it was fab because I was a bit worried that the people wouldn't be able to engage with the theme and engage with each other, and they might feel a bit strange about opening up because we do ask people to talk about their emotions and what's going on for them when they're doing the pages. And the fab thing is it's you don't have to be good at art. It's just the process is more important. But something about cutting or ripping and finding images and text just seems to release something from your subconscious. And when we did the session last week, it was nice because we were working with the public rather than anybody else. And we've done some for NHS workers and for carers. And they were all saying how nice it was to have 2 hours to themselves. So we said, you need to be interrupted because we need to be confidential and we need to make sure we're holding the space for you and that you're respecting other people. So if there's children coming in and out or your husband coming in and out and somebody's saying something really personal, it's important that we hold the confidentiality and hold the space. And they all enjoyed having 2 hours completely away from everything, doing something I hadn't done before.
And actually being there in that safe and quiet space, not only is it giving themselves permission, so to speak, to be there, because it's just like going to, if you went to a natural workshop or even to the dentist or the hairdresser, it is your time, it's a space there. And even though it's online. And with journaling, I'm sure a lot of them were able to release what it is that they're feeling.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff came up for people. And the nice thing about it is that nearly everybody's got a magazine and a pair of scissors. We were worried maybe people wouldn't have glue sticks. So we said you could either move things around and take pictures or use a stapler. And it's something about switching off your thinking brain and doing it mindfully and being in the moment. But Monica's very, very good at picking up what's going on for people. So when people talk and explain their process, she's able to wheedle out really fine details about what's going on. And that's something special to watch as well. And when you're on the end of it, it's very interesting.
It would be.
Ask some very searching, interesting questions about what's going on for you.
All right. So if I wanted to do that at home myself, is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think you wouldn't get the being held bit, and you wouldn't get the bouncing off other people in the group work. But lots of people can do it on their own. I do find people tend to be say they have an intention to do it at home, but sometimes they can't do it out of the group. So when we run an 8-week session, sometimes some people jump on it and they're bringing their journal and going, look at my page, and then other people can't quite engage on their own. I'm not quite sure why. I've asked, but something about being in the group and being held is really important. I mean, it's a bit like your vision board workshops, I think. If somebody's arty and that way inclined and very relaxed with art materials, then they would find it easier to do it on their own. But you do get a really deep, thoughtful response to your process from Monica, which you wouldn't get at home. It's much more like, because she does counselling as well, it's much more like having a counselling therapeutic session.
Fabulous. And also the fact that one isn't sitting on one's own, you're there with others. It's like a community.
Yeah. And when we do an 8-week course, there's we ask people not to communicate outside the session until the 8 weeks is finished, but they really build up a sense of community and support within the group. And some people have to learn about how to group, because some people need to give on an equal measure.
All right then. You're breaking up a wee bit, so we're not picking up every words there. But we're getting the gist of what it is that you're saying. I think I'm interested in when you said that on the 9-week course, you ask everybody not to contact each other. That's interesting. That.
Well, you want to be thinking about what's going on in the group and it being confidential and not sharing, Fred did this or Fred made this spread or whatever. And it's important to keep it, because it is therapeutic, it's important to keep it safe. And you just don't know quite what people are getting up to. It's not a control thing. It's just if people get groups. So if somebody starts meeting up with somebody for coffee every week during the 8 weeks, then the relationship of the whole group changes, because they might get on like a house on fire and then exclude other people in the group. And it's very much working with everybody. It's not just building up a relationship with one person. Whereas if you get on like a house on fire, at the end of 8 weeks, have coffee, go swimming, do some art or whatever.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you said that. That really, really does.
Yes.
So, going forward, you're holding online workshops, and you're finding they're successful.
Yes, we're really pleased. We had 6 in the last session, and we've done some sessions for NHS workers, some sessions for carers that have been free, and then we've been doing pay what you can afford sessions for the general public. And it went really well, and working with nurses was very moving, very, very moving.
It would have been.
We've got 2 more. We've got one coming up on the 18th that's for general public, and one coming up on the 25th of May for NHS workers again.
Oh, okay, so that's the 18th and the 25th for NHS, right? We'll get those out there. That's wonderful. And I know, Tess, that you do not just journaling with papers and such like. You use materials as well, do you not? And create objects.
At the moment, I'm stitching on tea bag quilts. I'm making there's something about tea bags, because they've got a bit of the plastic in them. Some of them, they are quite robust when they're dry. So I've been using those too. Shall I get one?
Yes, please, because you did say tea bag.
Yes.
Quilts. Oh, goodness.
So I've been, because I'm completely obsessed with words at the moment. So I've been stitching words, and these little clips are there's somebody called Melody Ross that I really like, who's another art journaler, and she does therapeutic work, and she was offering some free materials. Unfortunately, she's set up shop for a bit. I don't know quite what's happened, but I was using her materials and her words. So it says, there is time for you, it's all going to be okay, let yourself have hope. So it's thinking about how I am now and what's going on with everybody else, and sort of sitting on the telly and doing the stitching. And I got it in a second-hand shop. It's a mattress cover. It's quite nice because it's got the wadding in already, and it's already quilted, and it goes through it like butter.
That's fascinating. I would never have thought of using tea bags. Well, the outer casing of tea bags.
I like the colour. I'm not sure they're red bush tea rather than black tea, and it's a lovely warm colour, but I'm not sure how they'll last in terms of if they're in bright light. I know tea is a really good stain.
Oh, I must try that. I love that. Wow, fabulous idea.
It's really good fun. You dry. What I do is when they're wet, I empty most of the tea out, and then I dry them on a kitchen towel on the radiator. If it's a nice day, they'll dry anyway, and then I empty all the tea out. If you don't do that, they are incredibly messy, and people that you live with wander around going, so messy.
I'm saying nothing.
I don't teach this very much. I did that workshop for you, but that was the first time I taught stitching. I've always stitched, but it's not something, I'm keeping it for me, really.
All right. I love that. I'm going to try that. So, Tess, how fascinating. Thank you so much for telling us all about journaling and showing us that. I think that it's great, and we should all be doing something like that. So I ask everybody a different question at the end. So the question I am going to ask you is, we're all going on a picnic, and you're allowed to bring 5 items, but they have to begin with your first letter of your Christian name. What are your 5 items?
Well, I had to think, because gluten-free, so it was a bit tricky for a picnic. But I'd have to have tea because of my tea bags. And then I thought tacos and turmeric and tomatoes. Because I have a really restricted diet, and I can eat turkey, tacos, turmeric, and tomatoes, and then I drink gallons of tea.
And tea. Love it. Yes, absolutely perfect. And tacos, gorgeous. I do love a taco.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That is the end of another It's All About You. And thank you so much to Tess for sitting here.
Thank you very much. It was lovely. Thank you. Really relaxed and friendly. Thank you.
Oh, nice one. Good. So, yeah, everybody in our group, any questions that you'd like to ask Tess on the subject that we've talked about, or maybe something that you might think that she could help you with? Message Tess, or all of the URLs are there in the information. And, well, Tess is there at our meetings. She's in our group very often. You're not going away that quick, are you? No, none of that. We're here.
No,
We're here, mates. All right.
Yeah.
So say goodbye to
Bye-bye.
everybody in the group, and we'll catch you another time. Bye-bye.